process which we were having earlier, like there was one small association which was set up, and it actually didn't go as well in US, called Algorithmic Audit Association. How to audit algorithms. Now that is a very new area. Imagine that you are coming out with the standards or guidelines of how do you audit that. Now that is actually not going to be easy. Let's be honest with all of us. It's going to be means we need to be actually going into a leadership role where we do research project and everything, as Daya and Umesh sir was telling. We need to actually work on that and take that forward. And this box is something which where in this tower we have to show that in finance and business AI, ICI is the thought leader globally. Anything which we come out, like today, yeah, it is like, I know Nikunj is like smiling, ha, dekhna padega, karna padega. But the point is that we need to think of how we can actually bring that up. That is really a moonshot, and it's a tough thing to do. Let me tell you, working at IIM Bangalore and all things, I have seen it up. Research projects, Durgesh is here, are not easy. It's a tough things. When you try to do all this kind of thing, you can't just regenerate something from ChatGPT and actually publish it up there. This is really, you have to break your brain on that and take that forward, okay? And the last one, which is very interesting, I kept it up based on some discussion which we had with some of the folks, is, see, we need to also give up the very specific use cases of AI industry-wise. Like, see, if you see a pharma industry, it has a different way of looking at that. If you go manufacturing, they have a different kind of thing. Can we come out with a specific areas? You have seen something like Bharat Stack. Yeah, we have Bharat Stack. Imagine we have an AI stack where we can actually bring it up AI for regulators, AI for manufacturing, AI for pharma. The stack development, it is going to be very interesting. It can be something merge into this one, but this is the 4 towers which I had it in my mind, and I will actually ask Rishi to add to that, and then we'll make the floor open for you. So that is the stack part, okay? Rishi, all back to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm CA Rishir Soni. And as sir already discussed a lot of these insights, it's very much covering all of it. But a little bit thing to add over here is, apart from all these things, one of the major area to focus here is security and the privacy in AI. Because if we are using our audit data, if we are using our clients' data, there's a lot of confidential information which we deal with, which we access to. And it becomes very important ethically, morally, as well as from the confidential point of view, to add this particular pillar as well. Because whatever we design the course here, whatever inputs we do, that's just the literacy part. What we need to also design is certain standards for chartered accountants to follow while performing these functions using AI. Other than that, I think as sir also mentioned, that using AI should not be replacing you. Using AI should not be replacing you, rather it should be assisting you. As he said earlier, that it should not be as easy as just copy and paste, copying generated content and pasting it to your own use. You should have your own thought process to it, because while you use your AI, you need to specifically give it some commands. It's at a very early stage right now, so as specific as you can be in posting that query, it will generate the response which is suitable to you. So with that thought, I think we can begin with the discussions. Yeah.
And what we have with us, because we have paucity of time, and I know we are between you and the lunch, right? Tea will come. So, सब लोग घड़ी देख लेते हैं कि 1-1:30 बजे lunch चाहिए. So, how, it will be best if we can actually have all the experts put their point of views on this one. We will be taking notes. I thought it will be great if we have to coordinate and get a best out of that. It is very tough to get all of you together in one place. And it's also great that we can do something which I always like to always discuss. It's actually like cross-breeding of ideas. Someone will say some point and we can actually build up on top of that. So this can only happen when we all are here together. So time is less. I would like you to, jump in. I have something which are some suggestion which has come from the forms which are submitted. So we collected it. I will just put it up very quickly. It will be a food for thoughts. So you have something which is already there. So all of us are knowing ki haan, ye sab to theek hai. So the first part which has come is there is something everyone said, most of the people said, there should be some amount of a structured body of knowledge which we can give it to our members. Okay. Now the structured body of knowledge when we are giving, I have one request which is there. See, today Institute has a lot of courses. Okay. When I'm learning today, and you have seen this kind of things happening, I was reading one very nice book. This was basically, I will be sharing with you also. It says, advanced degree in the age of AIs. Like, what is going to happen? See, one very interesting thing. I am Kolkata, I am Bangalore, this time we could get 100% placement. But I am Kolkata had a big problem getting 100% placement. It's a classic challenge. All the, what we call it as the learnings at this top level. Most of the things, what used to happen was, and please don't take it otherwise, I also teach in academics and other things, so I have seen it up. Universities are not connected with what is happening in industry. Saurabh, you agree to that, right? Universities are teaching a lot of stuff कि industry को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता उस सब चीज़ों से, right? So my point is that whatever we try to bring it up, and we have a lot of industry representation here in this room, so see it from a perspective how we can have a real use case that what we are going to teach comes it up. So that is the first part on certificate course which has to be done. And we have also compiled a list of MIT's has a course of 6 weeks. Couple of courses are there which we will share with you. So you can easily give your thought process on that, whether it makes sense or not. And it is on different areas, on generative AI, other sections and all the things. So this is some, this is the, can you go back to that one only, sir? Okay. Exploring AI related tools for members and students. This is something which they are saying we should have some tools and other things given to them. Yes, we can give it up a list and compile, but nowadays we are very smart. You go to the ChatGPT and ask which are the tools for that, it will give you a full list of that. So we will work on that. The things, yes, we have done very amazing hackathon right now, but we can increase the hackathon propensity, I will use the word, and we can add multiple things to that and take it forward. Fourth, this is on the things which are going to be working it out. And also one thing I just wanted to tell you, this is one of the agenda which is very important. Physical and virtual AI labs. So actually just 2 weeks back, we purchased some 3 GPU in our office. And the cost of GPUs are right now going through the roof. 3 GPUs of NVIDIA, it was like a party in our office, like we got 3 GPUs because we were playing on some, generative AI things, some project on LangChain and other things we were working on. So my point is that we have a very interesting thing. I would request you to please pay attention. Can we have some AI labs, physical as well as virtual, which can be used by members to play around with that, okay? It can be something like, you remember the mainframe devs was there? You can actually use it for those so much hours and all things. And you all agree, one GPU costs around 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs. So if I have to have a 3 GPU machines running with this much of core, it is going to be expensive. But if I can play with that for half an hour, 45 minutes to play my use cases and all things, it will be great. So we should actually give some suggestion on that. There are also suggestions to connect with, because ministry approach and other things. And I think other things are all great. But use cases is one of the key part which is there. So with that, I will actually stop. The feedback which has come are mostly on this line. And over to you, please feel free. We can actually pass on the mic and more or less we will be taking notes out there. Yeah? Sir, aap logo chai bhi aa gayi. Yeah, Saurabh, you want to start, please. Where is
IIT Delhi, so I am a part of Board of Studies for around a couple of, or more than that, you can say universities and all. Yeah. So what I am doing, I'll just share those thoughts and those are completely aligned to that. One is when it comes to case study related part, I am assisting to universities in developing the case study bank. Fine, and that case study bank is, from my thought process, I have divided into 3 parts and that can be taken as a note and we can work on that. One is the international benchmark case studies which will give the real-time relevance with the topic taught in the classrooms. That is one part. So around 40% of the case studies are based on international standards, or you can say that those landmark case studies. Yes, I've divided the rest 60% into 2 parts. One is 30% that is domestic case studies to understand the real-time Indian scenarios. What is happening out there, because 99% of the professionals are primarily working on Indian companies. Yes. And thereafter the third case study are completely hypothetical case studies based on dreams. So you see a dream, what the company wants to be, what problems can be there in the future, and deep thought process on that, and build certain scenarios which are hypothetical but based on logics which I am studying today. So divided that case back study bank, so I am preparing certain case studies, and almost you can say that 1/3 of the case studies are built up in this particular scenarios. So 1000 is the first number which I am trying to build up. So 1000 case studies divided on what say 400 odd from international, 300 odd from domestic, and 300 are completely hypothetical.
Okay.
And those hypothetical case studies will be drawn by the teachers along with the students' involvement, because they are the one who are going to give the input. That is one thing which can work on. Second, when you are talking about AI tools to be given to the chartered accountants, I believe like market is flooded with tools, and not all tools are safe, not all tools are relevant also. So before giving any tools to the chartered accountant, if the premium body will certify certain tools, will give certain tools, okay, these are safe, these are relevant, and these for particular purposes, I think that will make sense. So you can list out 10, 20, 30 heads under which the tools needs to be given. And rather than giving one tools, 2 or 3 tools can be given to each and every chartered accountant, but those are certified tools. It's like when you are giving antivirus software, it's quick heal, na?
Yeah.
So rather than giving one particular tool to them, let's give a tool which are certified. So that's as a chartered accountant, people will realize and agree on the fact that these tools are relevant, tested and tried by you, because see, market is flooded with tools. So that's another input which I want to give. And when it comes to giving these tools, I believe today, as a professionals, we need to discover version 2.0 in ourselves. So let's make it a tagline that for every chartered accountant who have studied up till now, you can say by 2020 and post 2020, it has to be like discover your 2.0 with digital transformation tool, not only AI tool. So AI is just a part of it. We are all talking about AI, whereas I believe, that's my thought process, AI is there in ICAI by default from 1949. Fine, so AI as a word has been coined up in 1952, but ICAI has AI from 1949.
Yes.
It's just like you have to discover yourself, right? So that's a minute input from my side. Rest, the forum is open and we'll keep on sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, sir. Sir.
And while I very strongly agree with the case bank that he was referring, and in fact the cross-fertilization of ideas that
Yes.
you said, that draws a leaf out of that, I would suggest that we have a standard template for the cases.
Yes.
Probably someone like him who's devising 1,000 of them. It's a very huge number, 1,000 case studies. So we can have a standard template, and then we can crowdsource those cases, and we
Right.
can do that for everything. Second thing which I wanted, particularly because of the hackathons, and I'm glad that Vice Chairman साहब हैं यहाँ पर. ये hackathon में I have to be honest, I have not seen any of the hackathons. I have not followed any of the hackathons. But then why don't we crowdsource from the members' problem statements?
Yes.
And we can have those hackathons in form of challenges where those problem statements can be answered. जैसे मैं आपको बताऊं, अभी भी 8 दिन पहले भी मुझे 2 सॉफ्टवेयर के नाम बताएं हमारे गुजरात के डीजीपी साहब ने कि फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन के एनालिसिस के लिए ये सॉफ्टवेयर हम खरीद रहे हैं.
Right.
अब ये दोनों सॉफ्टवेयर 7 साल पहले मेरे पास अप्रोच किए थे कि हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर बहुत अच्छा है, आप ले लो. तो मैंने उनको बोला था कि मैं पैसा नहीं दूंगा, ले तो लूँगा.
हाँ.
ठीक है, मैं इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूँ, वही बहुत बड़ी बात है. तो वो सॉफ्टवेयर मैंने लिए, पर दोनों बेकार हैं.
Okay.
एंड प्रोबेबली आनंद भाई, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड one-on-one several times. I don't know, probably with some of you. We have a very huge. So I practice in disputes. I practice in litigations, disputes, and financial crime analysis. The biggest challenge that I have is analyzing and investigating bank statements which are of 5,000 pages, 10,000 pages, 12,000 pages, and this is very common. Correct, Rahul? है ना? This is very common. 5,000 पन्ने का बैंक स्टेटमेंट बड़ा आम बात है हम लोगों के लिए, आता है, रेगुलरली करना पड़ता है. But I have still not found a software
Which can do that.
which can do that, which can leave alone the analysis, which can simply convert everything into a simple spreadsheet from where we can start our conventional analysis. ये तो ठीक है, हम real intelligence की बात कर रहे हैं, artificial नहीं, जहाँ हम pivot लगा के भी देख सके. So what I think that if we can have a modality where we can crowdsource the problem statements, and we can have a modality where, and then see, crowdsourcing the problem statement we can encourage for the members. We can also encourage the industry at large, but primarily members who are facing these problems. और फिर बाद में solution तो कोई भी ला सकता है, solution तो कोई भी दे सकता है. Why do we restrict that only to the chartered accountants?
Very good. Very good. I think that's a very good point. And just to add to the, but how is finance using it? Have you ever thought of that? Like you Google it up, use cases of that. There will be 5-10 use cases which is roaming around the whole world. But you should also see there are a lot of industry-wise things which are happening right now. For example, I know one organization which is like multinational organization. They are using it for that earlier finance team was always asked, what is our budget left? Every department will send an email and all things. So they said, forget it up. Everything on LangChain. You actually do the query with the LangChain, it will tell you this department how much budget is left because they want to know it at different point of time. So what I'm trying to say is this kind of use case, and this I was also not, we have not done it.
Confidentiality is also there. No one knows what is the budget.
So at department you can ask that question, so they know that. So those kind of use cases, yes, we have to think of and take that forward. Yeah, Udai. Oh, okay. Yes, after Udai, you can.
Yeah, whatever the accounting standards, whatever the auditing standards, whether it could be the statutory auditor standards or whether it could be the internal audit standard or even for our forensic accounting standards, why not we use the AI technology so that it will be facilitated to our members first so that they can utilize that AI to see, to check what they are doing as a compliance part.
So is it something like that? I'm just thinking it loud, मैं समझ रहा हूँ कि हम लोग पहले FIS लोड करेंगे और उससे क्वेश्चन पूछ सको कि हाँ वैसा मतलब large language model, small language model में डाल के we can train the whole thing up and basically you can ask कि I have this situation which for oh interesting, very much it's a good
all the standards, all types of standards.
Yeah, actually to add on that, specifically what I see right now, specifically in small or medium size,
which we are handling with for the CAs, and they are coming out with the lacunas and they have not done X thing, Y things. That is because probably they might not have done the compliance part of whatever we have stated in the auditing standards anywhere. So if they will be having this kind of a tool, that would be very easy for them, and that you can place in a cloud environment on a virtual basis, so anybody can use that.
So you're right actually.
Everyone, my name is Sushil Kedia. I am also a chartered accountant. First of all, let me acknowledge that the energy in the room is absolutely infectious, and I can already anticipate a very good outcome coming out at the end. Right? So now, I was just thinking to take a step back, and if you look at how various countries or organizations, some of them are approaching the whole AI piece, they're talking about having an AI strategy.
Yes.
Right? So forgive me if I'm not aware whether we have one in the institute. I think we should, if not.
It's a good point, sir. I don't know we have I'll be honest with you, I don't know whether we have a AI strategy or not. We can actually take care of that. That's a good point.
Yeah. Absolutely. And AI in ICI is the very first most important step, strategy, right? So second is, can we have some kind of guidelines for all the members and students? Something like, for members, you need to look at the client contract to see whether you can use the AI or not, right? So something as basic as that.
Right.
So, do's and don'ts, very basic, I think.
Can you elaborate on that? I'm just trying to understand, please.
So today we are talking about using AI either in our, whatever, practice areas, etc. Suppose you audit a company and in the contract, the term says that, okay, you cannot use any, tool, or you can use a tool which ensures so and so.
Or privacy, your data should not
data
go out
security,
and all things.
Privacy, NDA, confidentiality, all of that, right?
Okay.
And second can be like, use only approved tools, which may be published by the institute from time to time, etc., right?
Yes.
Then, suppose, of course, we all have very confidential client data, etc.
Yes.
You shouldn't be uploading very confidential, sensitive data, right? These are some of the examples. So some guidelines like that. Right?
Sure.
Sir, may I try to answer that? Like, so an update will be required once we start using AI. So that has to be incorporated
Right. In your engagement letters or all the thing. Okay.
engagement letter has to be updated to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Got
And 3 basic courses at a minimum is what I was thinking.
Tell us, sir, which are the 3?
One is the basic one, right?
Okay.
Today, if you see how people are identifying or, exploring about AI, is to do search on the web, go to Google, see.
Yeah.
But there is so much of information around.
So
tools. Maybe individuals may not feel, professionals may not feel very confident, whether I'm seeing the right information or not. So the basic course should be able to equip all of us
Yeah.
to kind of just understand the basic concepts of AI, like, you know, what are the risks of AI?
Okay, got it.
What is the overview, etc. Second is auditing AI. If our clients are using AI, you know, what do you do? And third can be, how do we use AI in our
Day-to-day work.
day-to-day work? These are the three.
Okay. Sir, I'll...
Yes. So I can take pride in saying that last 1 year I run a startup which is specific for AI in corporate finance.
Amazing.
So I can see whatever the 4 pillars what he has said, I can easily understand and see through that because we've been in this journey for last 1 year from the time the GPT started. Before that, I started my thinking, and he was in industry for last 14 years, and then he started this process. So first of all, I will start with the questions here, and I'll try to answer that wherever I feel it is relevant and possible. The first one is the certificate course on members and students. So first, everybody here talks about using the chat GPT or generative AI. We are limiting it to, say, GPT or chat GPT. There is a way much more things beyond that. So basically the LLMs and the open source LLMs. So if we need our students, our members to leverage LLMs or I would say LLMs because that is the backbone of generative AI, we should start teaching them Python. Because during our journey in this generative AI, first it was a nuclear team, then we were started to explore to get more people into our company. We were not able to find good talents who understand these concepts. So we started a wing we are training. I'm from Coimbatore, so we are training a lot of colleges there in about generative AI and how to use it. So the first and foremost is people should know Python.
Okay.
So because
Python, sir, just to add, Python is now part of Advanced ITT, which is going to launch from 1st of July. So
Great, sir.
It's
not
part
aware
of the thing.
Great. So that's the first thing which I
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to say. Second, how do you integrate Python with large language models?
LLM.
Then only you can leverage the benefit of large language models. For example, if we wanted to specifically, for example, yesterday in the dinner and most of the places we were discussing on how we leverage with our data, with our things. So there is a way, as you said, LangChain and LangServe can be used. LangServe is the updated version of LangChain. And training your data sets, fine-tuning is the first and foremost thing. So that people should know,
Right.
rather just saying fine-tuning, how do I do that? So we should give a guidance on how you can log into, install a Python, what is pip install, what is API keys. So all those things has to be
Got it.
part of this one.
Great.
Second, I'll come to the 7th point. So I'm being a startup, I would like to contribute more on our journey.
Yes, sir.
Because whatever we have gone through 1 year, I don't want the other persons to go to the same pain. So at least they can start from the 1 year to the next. So that can be one
That's a very
contribution.
good thought process. I think we should also have some sessions where you can share it up your journey.
That will be the best thing. So the next one is on the
Expensive.
expensive. There are a lot of ways which we can get cheaper GPUs. With the power of what ICA has, we can give the playgrounds. So once people know basics of Python, they can connect through the dedicated cloud networks where ICA can help.
Very much.
Whoever interested, who has knowledge, they can create specifically and contribute to the.
And we can have a AWS deal also with AWS for all members on behalf of that.
No, we have been part of NVIDIA's startup program,
Yeah.
and we have applied for the AWS credits as well. So the AWS by default gives the credits.
No, they will give to startups. We have
Yes.
also got that $30,000 credit for startups.
Yes.
But what is not happening is, imagine if I'm an ICI member, if I have code, I can actually get some credit to play around with that, something like that.
Exactly. Both in all the three, AWS, GCP and Azure. And of the three, what we felt is AWS is much more
Easier.
reasonable to explore and bucket-wise
Right,
also. So finance side. So we are practices on generative AI for corporate finance,
Okay.
especially for corporate finance. So they basically the data analytics.
Oh, okay, that would be great. So we can have your tools and other things, or maybe something like that.
Yes.
Your experience can be shared then. Okay.
Yeah, so we are in the verge of launching our beta versions.
Amazing.
Maybe this week or
Maybe you can
next
give the
week.
beta version access to all the people here. To play
Definitely, I would definitely. So it's been a 1 year
Yeah.
journey, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the output of that.
Sure.
So I'm happy. At
Yes.
least I'm in the same range. What
Sir,
we
you can
expect.
pass it. Okay.
This is CA Deepak, and I have been practicing AI for the last 7+ years.
More than that, sir, I think.
One of the most important thing which we understood is the fact that we have to be relevant in this industry, right?
Yes.
If we form the certificate course, curriculum, and don't be abreast with what is happening in the current organizations or the organizations of our clients, then there will be no use.
No use, sir.
So I would suggest in the curriculum, whether it's a certificate course to our members or students, we bring in specific people from enterprise, from
Perfect.
organizations.
Very much.
And it has to be niche, not the top level executives, right? Someone who is basically doing PO processing at the depot level to talk about the business problem, right? Once we have those sort of business problems accumulated, we can do prioritization, right? What is the general environment that is going on based on something called recency, frequency, and monitoring. How recent is the problem? How frequently it is being, envisioned, and what is the monetary impact it would have? Based on that, we can prioritize what are the solutions that can be, developed. We can create something called innovation center along with AI labs that we are talking, right? Those innovation centers can comprise of, technical, non-technical, functional people, right? And whatever solutions we develop, right, that can be IPR of institute, right? That can be an IPR of institute. So that's one suggestion. Second suggestion is having tech talks along with the webinars and seminars. The tech talks can be one thing. Second is, and last is the capstone projects, right? So those capstone projects, whatever curriculum we define, those capstone projects needs to be there, and the people should be assessed more on terms of those capstone projects rather than theoretical, assessment, right?
Got it.
So those are some bits from my side. Thank you.
Great, Deepak. Thank you. Sir, I will come to you.
Everybody, I am CA Nikunj Shah, and besides my core practice area, I can describe myself as an AI application enthusiast. I was very much aligned with the thought process of Anand Bhai when he categorized these 4 pillars. Let us have a closer look. I just want to take this discussion ahead. Before I do that, there is a treat for Durgesh Bhai, my good old friend Durgesh Bhai over here. Durgesh Bhai, you were looking forward to analyze 5,000 pages of bank statements, right? Please check out these 2 tools. One is Relativity Suite. And second is Brain Source. Please check out these 2 AI-based data analytics and deep learning tools. They have an inbuilt machine learning model. Okay? And I don't know if anybody here has already used it, but to give you a few prominent names, Deloitte has been using this. This is cloud-based. Wait.
Is expensive, sir.
So I'm coming to that. Very expensive or cheap or whatever it is, I'm coming to that. Wait. So, Durgesh Bhai, just some pointers so that we don't go off track from the main discussion over here. But these 2 tools, we can take the discussion to the lunch also with everybody else who all are interested. Number 1. Number 2, Anand Bhai,
Yeah.
when we talk about whether using AI for our professional practice or becoming consultants, we are basically, let us look at the impact that we are trying to have.
Right.
We are basically trying to figure ourselves out as experts of applying AI tools. experts of applying AI tools. What used to happen 50 years back is that we became experts of using Lotus and Word. Then we moved on to Excel and Idea Analytics. And now maybe we are looking forward to move towards AI-based tools, whether those are generative tools like ChatGPT or specific data analytics tools like BrainSource or the relativity model.
Yes.
But it will restrict us to becoming only users or expert users of these AI tools. But the third vertical that you pointed out is where I believe the vision of ICI must lie.
Yes.
And that is to become the thought leaders. What do you really mean by this? AICPA has collaborated, and this is an example I'm giving you. AICPA has collaborated with Caseware Incorporation to develop what is called as DAS, DAS, or the Dynamic Audit Software.
Yes.
What this dynamic audit software does is it incorporates AI and smart analytics into the audit tool. Now see, if institute has a vision to develop some proprietary tool, now a huge impact this will make. How there are so many issues that, sir, you pointed out of the confidentiality. I'm looking at the next silo over there. The confidentiality and the privacy of data. See, when the institute develops a tool with some of the developers,
right.
Say for example, if we partner with, I'm just taking names, some of the startups over years, or maybe a very well established company like TCS or Infosys, and we develop a tool for our members, I think that is where we make a completely different impact than becoming just expert users of AI. We get what we call as some proprietary or patent-based software for ICI that members can use, that already complies with all the guidelines that ICI must have for its members in applying artificial intelligence to clients' data or to practice data. So these are the few things that I wanted. My very strong, once again at the cost of time, is that Institute of Chartered Accountants of India at its level must have a vision to become the thought leader, and that can happen once we collaborate and have our own AI-based tools in different areas. Why only analytics? For example, in our own organization, we have been extensively using AI for tax matters. What kind of tax matters, Anandji? It is very, very interesting, and so many my fellow chartered accountants can take this back home. Is once we get the assessment order, to file appeal against that particular order. Wow. There are so many tools that are available which can analyze the assessment order, identify the gaps in the assessment order, and suggest you the grounds of appeal and the statement of facts. Superb. Now see, if some pre-packaged tools are already doing this, then if ICI takes that as a base and starts from there, where can ICI reach?
Great.
You know, then all those code of conducts would be built within that tool. And things like this, like say for example, filing appeals against assessment orders, you can get a draft from the tool itself.
Members are using right now this part, people are doing it. The response to notices, lot of people are doing it.
Lot of people are doing it. So tax is another big area besides corporate finance, besides finance auditing and such, where this can be used. Again, the thrust should be on leadership, where we can maybe have our own proprietary tool. Thank you for patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Atul sir, then I'll come.
What sir said,
that's a
great thing which we can also follow.
And I would like to just add to this, because the points which we are trying. So I have one request for everyone, because
my name is Alok Gupta, and I'm I'm not a chartered accountant. I'm a technologist for the last 34 years, and I've seen the industry evolving. The one thing which is not covered here, I would say,
yes,
which is from experience of taking a lot of FAFD programs, for the members. And what I realize is that they're moot question every time. is employability or business opportunities.
Very
How do you create employment, better employment or better business opportunities for them?
Perfectly, yes, sir. I think
Now, how can ICAI kind of take that thought leadership to get AI to do this, right? I have 3 sub-points there. One is, of course, there are a lot of global opportunities which would come in the form of KPOs or, outsourcing.
yes,
As one of the esteemed members talked about, a lot of aging population in many countries.
Yes,
So there is the possibility of a lot of work coming back to India, and not just to the big 4 or the big 10 or whatever. I mean, we are really worried about the SME CAs and the CAs who are running small firms, and we talk about tier 2, tier 3. Then that becomes important, so how do we create opportunities for them? How do we become a marketplace generator for them to get themselves? So either one is the enablement, and then how to leverage those opportunities. Second is the 80-20 principle, where how can my 80% of the rut work or the routine work or something which, an AI can do, that we need to teach them, that we need to enable them, that how can the 80% be done and how can they use the balance 20% of their creativity to counter that.
yes.
Right. The third piece in this is the intellectual property creation. Because it's not just about accounting, audit, the corporate finance or whatever. How can the CA community create IPs in their areas? And I'm sure there are a lot of areas, and we're talking about digital transformation and all that, and there are CAs who have a double-edged sword of being a technologist as well as a finance person.
Right.
How can they at their own level create intellectual property? So if ICAI can, develop that kind of a thought leadership and programs around it, then there is a possibility of employment and opportunities coming in. Another thing which I would like to say, and this is coming again from experience in cybersecurity, where there is something known as cyber range, where you are actually having a purpose-driven simulated exercise. It could be for user awareness, it could be for red teamers, it could be for blue teamers or whatever. Similarly, in the case of AI, ICAI should create an AI range.
Good.
Now that AI range is something which will not only have simulation, which will have, as many people talked about, libraries and cases and all that. And this is not a very large data. This doesn't fall into the realm of LLM. This could be a small language model or whatever, right? So this is one thought process, and I can contribute in as to how. And you can use emerging technologies like XR or AR and all that to make it very interesting. I mean, we've all been reading books, and how much text to video or video to text or voice can play a major role in actually enabling the cyber range, the AI range part of it.
Right.
And third, which is very dear to this thing, is the privacy part, because we now have a DPDP bill.
Yes.
So how does that bill or the legal aspects or the compliance aspect of that, can AI leverage that? I mean, I read a statement from the Chief Justice. He said that when you're doing any forensic investigation, then can you ensure that the PII or the personal data from the law enforcement officers or the prosecutor's perspective, can you mask that? And I'm sure today AI, by doing synthetic data,
we can
do all that.
Yes.
So, these are my 2 cents.
So that's a very good point, because a private. Yes, sir.
One, what Nikunj bhai just said. So, with permission, Nikunj bhai, I'm just bringing that. We all know about IDEA. So IDEA was a tool developed by CICA, Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants. Then Caseware bought that out. So that is one thing that has always been, that our institute has to have proprietorship, ownership of such software, what Nikunj bhai has been talking about. Second related aspect is that to make that software available, usable and confidential, the member's faith has to be built into that member, he or she uses that first. Second, for the last part, development of use cases, I just have a suggestion that we can, we have Daya bhai and Manu bhai here, top 10 industries by GDP. So we can create user groups or use case creator groups.
Yes.
So those who wish to contribute, they can put there. So we can just, that we fast track, rapidly develop that. And one, with permission, adding to the whole hall, we already have a section 7A in the Information Technology Act by the heading e-audit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Modi ji has already told us कि 24 में जीत जाऊंगा तो कुछ करूंगा. So I always feel that section is just to be made live.
Okay.
So that is going to make all this discussion more relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, Amish Bhai, and we'll come there.
Thank you, Anand. I'm ND Kundu, Nandudulal Kundu.
Yes.
Just to add, see that it's a post-qualification course, whether call it a certificate course or diploma course.
Okay.
See the coverage part. Coverage part is, should not be repetitive, and at the same time, to whom we are addressing. Is it for the niche people, or wanted to address to the all audiences, or only a very, that you first determine
Agree.
and accordingly make your syllabus.
Yes.
Otherwise, we face some problem in the DISA.
Got
So
it, sir.
please take care of that.
That is fine,
Whether
sir.
you will teach them LLM or not, or only for the uses of the AI, please take care of that one.
Perfect.
Otherwise, we will face similar problem in DISA.
Sure.
Then, who you will be teaching these things? The faculty. Maintain that standard, which may not be there in some of our courses.
Right.
So, that standard part, how we'll do it and what are those things? Selection of the faculty, make them as per as more or less, it cannot be 100% of the same standard. At that, you should please maintain that one. That's
Sure,
my suggestion at the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Amish Bhai, and we'll come here.
Into forensics, AI and technology related domain. What I've learned, I'll just share it in 2 minutes, not more than that, is that see, we are a consultant. We are the solution provider to our customers. At the end of the day, what matters is what our customer needs from us. Learning is endless. Learning is unlimited. AI is a domain where first I feel that as an institute or as an expert group, we just need to interact with the industry a lot more, gather insights as to what are the problem areas that they're facing, and look upon AI as a solution to that. See, all these emerging technologies are one or the other way solving business problems. But there are problems in the domain of finance, taxation, accounting, auditing, and as a part of digital transformation specialists, which industry is finding it difficult to bridge the gap. And they're looking continuously at chartered accountants and technology experts to kind of help them in that transformation process. They're good at developing their business, they'll continue to do that, but we can partner with them if we understand the problem that they're facing by introducing these technologies into their business domain, and if we get to know that.
Yes.
And in post-COVID, I've got 2 use cases where understanding the client problem, we have developed an AI algorithm. Our machine learning process is ongoing. When we first ran the first round of AI algorithm, our success rate was only 43%. So the problem was that client was having 11% exposure to cash theft. So identifying that problem, we started looking how AI can kind of through a predictive analytics model or using neural network as the deep learning platform, how we can look at AI as a solution provider. Trust me, friends, first run, 43% accuracy. Now it's been 2.5 years. Every time we execute that run, machine learns, the algorithm evolves, and today we are at 64%. And we are evolving.
Nice.
So the point is that once we understand the problems that clients is facing, then we can look introvert and see how AI can help. So my suggestion to this forum is that yes, we can do all of that provided we know who our target audience is, what is that they're expecting from chartered accountant, and then we should kind of develop the knowledge within our fraternity members so that they're equipped to handle those sort of challenges and offer them the right solutions.
Right, sir. I think
So
that
it's
is
a target.
the students are learning at one level. DISA is also there. AI is also there. It should not be like a duplication or anything. We have to see the overall and take that forward. Sir, for you, and I'll take the mic.
On 2 projects, again, they are all aiding to reduce the revenue leakage in some or the other way, or bringing in more operational efficiency so that their profitability increases. That is what eventually businesses need.
That's what we can help business in terms of doing it up. Sir.
Their intelligence projects. Now, by seeing this slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's 2 points that I want to emphasize on, that we have faced a challenge, and probably number 1 is the capacity building. Initially, if you have the point number 3 and 5, if you can see that point number 3 and 5, my suggestion would be you don't call any expert from the industry, you call chartered accountant and ask their problems. Because once they take over by the experts, the CA will not be able to tell what the problem, why he should learn this.
Right, sir.
So the conference must be from the accountant perspective.
Okay.
Then if it needed, then further in the course of action, you can take. Second is the presently in the capacity building, you have to treat the member as an ultimate stakeholder.
Yes.
Because he have to perceive the software as a use, not as it have to learn or something to do fancy on it. He have to learn and he have to make use of it. He have to reap the benefit from that thing.
Right.
So in the capacity building, you have to provide some customized software, and the startup companies are
Yes.
here. They can make the software. You have a in-house.
Even a RFP
capacity.
has gone, sir, and
Yeah.
RFP is there.
The second issue that I want to discuss, and we are presently facing, though we have our own data center, DR in Hyderabad and data center in Noida. What the problem is, when you have that kind of a setup of virtual labs and physical labs, you should have your infrastructure to store the data,
Right.
high volume of data. You just cannot say we will set up the lab without infrastructure.
Yes.
Because for setting up the labs, or whether it be a physical lab or virtual lab, you need data.
Yes, sir.
And all the data that chartered accountant have is of customer data.
Right. The privacy part and everything.
Privacy part, and if you put it onto
Yeah.
the others cloud,
Yes.
that have a lot of repercussion, and there's a lot of problems.
Right, sir.
Even the customer has not allowed you to do so. So my suggestion would be a small private data center to be there, and whatever the software that startup companies, I just forgot his name. What's his name? Subhash Chandraji and that Alokji have
Yes.
some that you can ask them to run their software in your small data center, private data center,
And
where you have the ownership of the data.
Right.
ICA has the ownership of data, maybe encrypted data going to the cloud and all that kind of things.
So,
and the last point is, when you create, the point number one, when you doing this capacity building, a formidable course need to be there. Now, if you have a course, certificate course like this, my suggestion would be that DISA, FAFD and AI, you make the course of AI such that one day you can bring DISA, FAFD and AI in single umbrella.
that is the plan, sir. That's a whole ecosystem we are talking about. That's what I told you before. Yes.
Dyanivas, you were talking about that DISA plus. My suggestion is interchange of the intersection of these three courses, FAFD, DISA and AI, will provide the DISA plus kind of a thing. When somebody is certified in these three, he can have that kind of a mindset where he can have an audit, forensic audit, fraud audit and AI.
Right.
So the clear cut domain of all the three things.
That we can work it out, sir. No problem.
Thank you.
That is, thank you. Sir.
Need for AI assurance is going to significantly increase.
Agree.
right?
That is a very important area of assurance. Yes.
Right. And just like the forensic standards, has put our institute at the forefront globally.
Thought leadership, yes.
Can we create some group or team who can actually do some research on
For sure, sir. Thought leadership,
on
that is-
AI standards,
Yes.
etc. Today, for example, NIST in the US, last year they came up with a risk management framework. ISO has a framework, right? ISO
Even
42001.
the FANG has also come out with an
Right.
internal ethics standard for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this will also help us to basically collaborate, if we have a program across some of these institutes and organizations.
So this one I've taken it up. Thanks, sir.
Yes, I am Mayur Jawar, chartered accountant. Fortunately, I had the experience of working in both blockchain and AI, and my
Very
startup is in both the segment. We are
Amazing.
building a solution for corporate and education sector.
Yes, sir.
So they cannot be ruled out when we will be writing in our audit report that these records were 100% audited by AI with so and so tool.
Yes.
So I think just to add few points, in the backdrop of privacy data protection bill, the rules will be just after election
Coming.
it will be coming.
Yes.
So keeping in those points, we need to really frame the structure of AI access and tools, because this is a game changer. We already corporates are complying with the GDPR guidelines, but privacy data protection bill, the rules will be something, a big thing. And as far as the learning process is concerned, and the point which is already there, GST, income tax, and bank audit. These are the predominantly areas where small firms are right now doing their practice. So institute should frame the structure in such a way to do experience of AI in these three sectors first, so that really firms or practicing members from small towns can also have that experience of learning.
Sir, I would actually I'm just telling it, sir, you can add lot of value on this one. Sir, we have 4 lakh members and we have exported around 35,000. If a chartered accountant knows, I remember when I did my, I became CA something in 2001-2. That time what used to happen, if you know macros and all the things, you are a special expert in that. The industry corporate would love to take you out there. If you know how to use it, you will do your work better, faster and other things. So I think we have to focus both sides. That's the reason I told you in the practice area, also see it from a perspective of people who are going into industry, because there is industry representation also in the thing. We have to see from that. But this point is very good. What you have said, we have to make it up like what we are thinking is just for many of the people.
Yes, please, thank you.
So,
Institute is for our students as well as for our members, right? And employability is at the heart of it.
Right.
Now, I'm going to talk from a consumer perspective. AI is not for everything, and everything in AI is not for everyone.
Yes.
So, when from a communication standpoint, perhaps putting all the touch points in place that what a student can do, what a SME does, what a Big Four does, or whatever a bigger institute does, what a member does, right? And what do we recommend for whom in terms of their learning journey, right? So that they're with us and they grow with us.
Yes.
I very much resonate with the pillars that you made, right? I see an ecosystem created within itself, right? Where what you create and the thought leadership is what gets used for education as well, right? So I think the AI strategy that someone initially spoke about,
that is a very good idea. I think
that whole ecosystem by itself can self-thrive. Also, perhaps the students taking this up, right? It opens a different line of, career opportunities for them, because not every CA will be a technologist and not every technologist will be a CA. Right, but it's going to just open the gamut up that at least there'll be more people who have been in touch or have been touch points for the institute who will promulgate what we are trying to do. So that's perhaps maybe you want
amazing,
to consider.
Sanketh. I think that is a great thought process, because the idea is we should have an ecosystem completely built. It will take some time, but it will give us a kind of a result in the long term of that.
The student journey, right? If the students stay with us, right? I think we are sorted.
We're sorted on that. Great. Nawal sir.
Just too small, creating an immediate impact, and because we say AI in ICAI, we can think about bringing a position paper for the ministry.
Very good.
Especially on the two bigger issues that are that are to be dealt with. One is about the quality of the financial reporting, where NFRA is giving so many orders, and AI can actually help benchmarking and also finding out potential financial reporting frauds and all. So that position paper. And secondly, on the please.
Sir, I want to interrupt you for a minute.
Yeah.
Sir, I think हमारे committee है sir, this Financial Reporting Board, FRR. Why can't they use this, that all the filing which is done to see, like for example, I'll tell you, one of a large agro business company right now is using it for sentiment analysis of report. Notes to account and all the thing. They are actually seeing the sentiment analysis to figure it. I think this is a great idea. So before it goes to NAFRA, हम लोग खुद एक बार check कर ले.
So we do it, and we can actually build a team of chartered accountants who can train this model.
Right.
And then once this model is effective, we can give it to the MCA.
Amazing. So that was, and it will be for learning. We have enough data, also points and other things which can be used out there.
The second point I had was there was a lot of discussion around we should have our own tool, or we should have certain things. I think being the CFO of one organization, I can tell that everything, AI, why AI is still not getting implemented is because cost of computing.
Yes.
Cost of computing itself is very high. So we cannot do everything. So whatever use cases or applications that we are planning to do, we need to also look at the cost of computing part of that to decide, what we are actually going to bring on the table.
Yes, sir.
These are my only points.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Narasimhan sir, and then Kapil sir, and then sir.
Vilangovan, chartered accountant and practicing in the domain of IT audit and cyber security. The first thing which I want to make a mention is, what do we intend to do from this AI perspective, right? It is like me having a knife. I can use a knife to cut a vegetable, to chop or even to probably slit the throat, right? So first is to make that perspective very clear in terms of our positioning.
Right.
Now, if I talk about positioning, we have to decide two broad elements: functional, technical. There are people who are experts in a field, but they may not know how to use technology. There are people who are experts in technology, but don't know where to apply.
Yes.
I may know the best of the Python script because I am an engineering graduate or whatever, but I know where do I use that, right? So it has to be a cross-functional. So the way the institute should position this entire thing, my view is completely two perspectives.
Yes.
One is purely on functional. And when I use the word purely on functional, pick up use cases which members have a problem.
Right.
And give them an idea or a perspective, hey, this is a problem, this is a potential use case of AI, why can you use it, and why should you not use an AI? Today the industry believes or the world believes, sabke liye AI use kar lo, which is not practical at all. For all you know, I could have probably spent an extra 2 hours and got it done by the time I sit and configure and all of those. Right? So that sort of a thought process is the first thing which has to come through.
Sure.
Second, from a technical perspective, we can speak about courses, getting into the depth of it, all of those. Now, the moment you decide these two arms, both these arms have to work in two different manners.
Okay.
If I am talking about a functional use case, they are more interested on how can I use AI to solve my problem. I am not interested in Python.
Yes.
I am not interested in programming. You may be a technical stalwart who's doing that, great. But for me, that is not my problem. So we need to define that. And that is where I want to make a specific mention on the RFP which the institute is floating. My concern is, if we try to boil the ocean, we are going to reach nowhere. 3 years back or 5 years back, we floated an RFP for practice management, audit analytics, everything under the earth which the CA does. By the time we decided what could come, everything changed and now we are talking about AI. My fear is that this will happen again, and I'm being very strong about it. So we need to, as a committee and as members, remember, even if the committee changes, members like us, we are going to continue in terms of our thought process and our contribution, right? So we need to be very clear that we need to come up with a 1-year plan, 2-year plan and 3-year plan. Very simple. I don't want to go to a 5-year plan because uske baad AI ke alawa kuch aur topic aa jayega. Right? We'll put it very simple. What is it that immediately I'll be able to deliver? Immediately I can deliver use cases.
Right.
Immediately I can crowdsource some problems like Durgesh sir was mentioning, try to get those scenarios from various set of stakeholders. And we need to make it very clear that let us take domain specific. Otherwise the members will think, hey, AI is only for advanced related technology. The reality is unka GST return ko analyze karne ke liye bhi AI can be used. Yes. Right? That is basically what we have to reach. And how do we reach it? Case study, use cases, short videos, making a repository of applications. Many people say, sab kuch Google mein hai. Right? Today, the biggest problem is we are all having information fatigue.
Too much.
Everything is available. I don't know what to consume. And that is where our knowledge has to come into picture. Today, everything AI can give. What do I take? Right? Because what you will take may not be what I take. The entire concept is different. And that is where we will have to focus on and say, hey, this is a tool. Like this, there are similar tools. This is what you need to look in a tool. Stop it. Okay. Left to them, how do they want to go ahead? Right? And then talk about hackathons, fantastic initiative. I think we'll have to, the more and more initiative keeps on coming, speak about AI use cases. And one thing which I suggest in the AI hackathons is specifically ask those members to upload those files or information. Because if you look into any of the Gartner presentations or any of the international presentations, they have one very, very important thing, standardization. Because what I do, what you do, what somebody else will do, the topic will be different. The way we do will be the same. So you're talking about a use case, give that file. If it's a proprietary file, go ahead and mask it. You can ask AI to itself mask it and give you.
Yes.
Right? So do that and then it becomes a knowledge repository. And start using it. Today that knowledge repository is lacking. Put in something like a wikis or blogs, whatever is there, right? And then comes the element of advanced. In advance, talk about risk of AI, ethical use case, presenting papers. We as ICI coming across and developing our own, AI based tool. All of those comes into advance. I think we have to divide it into these 3 buckets, and that's my humble submission.
Sir, that's a great thought. I just want to add to one point, and I want everyone to just give their thought process. See, there are multiple methods of hackathon. I think one of the things which has come on problem statement, use case and all thing. can we do it a little bit of differently? Like what happens is, as you say, standardized approach, where, you know, if you have seen the Atal Innovation Lab and all things, their hackathon happens, they will actually have 15 to 20 use cases, or not use cases, problem statements. And they will say, this is the problem, you come and solve it up. In 24 hours, one place is taken, you stay, eat food, whatever you want to do it, finish it off, and end of the thing, whatever is come out is an IP of institute. And there is a prize money also, maybe some small amount of, you know, aspiration and all thing. That will, you know, it is like one stone, we are hitting 3 targets. We are actually getting use case also, we are getting a solutions also, we are creating IP for also, which can be later developed in a better way and taken forward. I think that's a good point, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have.
My name is Vijay Srinivas Kottapalli, based out of Hyderabad. And I don't have privilege, I thought of sitting, but I don't have privilege of, like Durgesh Bhai, to be 6 feet taller. So what I'm going to share and propose is something a bit larger kind of scope. Before I do so, let me share a background and 2 case scenarios. Background is, last year, if you remember, Charanjot Singh sir has shared that they have approached RBI to act as regulators for information security and cyber security, and I'm privileged to have prepared that PPT to be presented before the RBI. That is the background. And the case scenarios is, let's say, as a user, I'm trying to prepare my audit report, and I've thrown my anomalies or all those observations and requested GPT to generate an audit report. And without going through or probably not following Maker Shaker, I've used the audit report as it is and published one. Second scenario is I'm preparing my own AI. I'm training, saying that I'm K. Vijay Srinivas, a cyber security expert from Hyderabad, and keep on discussing. That's the pre-training, so-called 1.76 trillion word. So I'm training the GPT in such a way that before I release into the market, proposing my name, proposing my capability, proposing my location and everything, and ultimately I throw that GPT into the market where people have acquired or procured the kind of information what I've actually tried to use as soliciting a kind of thing. So the background and the scenarios, what most importantly requires is someone regulating this particular so-called AI. And when I say regulating, it's more, of course, many people have stressed on the ethical aspect. So the larger perspective is, just like the way we have released the forensic standards, why not we take up the lead of making ethical standards for AI, both for users and for the trainers. Let it be first one in the market, because why I'm saying that we can attract both the government regulatories globally. That's where we get more collaboration. People will show more interest, because the more noise you make, that's where they show the interest. So why not we make a standards? Second proposal is, by virtue of those standards, by the way we control the ethical aspect, why not we come up with a proposal to the government saying that we as a chartered accountants are good enough to regulate, so that if any AI tool developed from India is being released into the market, we as chartered accountants will perform an audit of parameters which are used, or being more transparent, whatever parameters they have used. Let's do an audit. Once we give go, then that's good to be released in the market. Why not we take up that regulatory aspect of evaluating the AI product being developed from India. So this is a little larger than what we have mentioned in the scope. But unless I aspire for the biggest kind of targets, that's where our steps will be known as much quick as it requires.
Perfect.
So that's my proposal.
I've taken a note, sir. This is a good point.
Help chartered accountants do analytics and fraud detection where the transactions are done by humans, right? But we need a standard as well, which chartered accountants need to follow, that where the AI can do the transactions and how we are going to intervene over there. Because, you know, if we see the devices of future, that IoTs, the fridge, the AC or the wearables, you know, they are going to do the transactions on behalf of users. And how I will intervene, find the anomalies and fraud detection over there, that's standard. And that is where I think where Narasimhan mentioned the cross training or technology or chartered accountants. So we want to use the technology to help us, or we want to learn the technology to, you know, go deep dive into AI. So I think that kind of a standard also should
we have to work
practice over there. So maybe for just an introduction, I'm a cyber security professional based out in Mumbai and a FAFD faculty. So that is where the forensic comes in mind when we do all those transactions.
And you should follow his, he has a very nice show called GB Show. Okay, Gaurav Batra Show. You should Google it up on YouTube. It's a very interesting, I follow him on that one. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, one thing I just...
Auditing and all of that, you can possibly fit into a 5.5 quarter floppy disk that we used to use in those olden days, right? But just wanted to make a few points.
Sir.
One is, for all the items that you have listed on the board there, I have already filled in the Google form, and so I don't want to repeat myself.
Yes.
But a couple of things. One is, you're talking a lot about AI, but one very fundamental and very important aspect for that is the data that you need to feed in for AI. And whether it is your financial reports, whether it is your auditing reports, somebody has to prepare data in a way in which AI can consume it properly, right? So I think from a teaching perspective, one of the things that you would want to incorporate into your course is how do you make data ready for AI? How does AI use it? Second thing I think that I have been missing in all of these discussions is that there's a lot of whatever we have talked about has been mostly around structured data. There's a lot of unstructured data, that is documents, images. That is also going to become very critical part of the AI journey. So you need to incorporate that also as part of your AI journey. Third is that somebody talked about the cost of AI, right? We are assuming that ChatGPT is running there and then it is something that is available for us. When you start building your own AI applications, there's a huge cost to it. And I'm not only talking about the infrastructure cost. When you deploy it, when you need to constantly keep training it and then, deploy it again and then monitor it, see whether it is coming up with the right results or not. That is a huge cost.
Perfect.
So deploying and running AI applications is one other area that you would need to focus on.
Great.
Last point that I wanted to talk about, somebody mentioned that, we have our own physical and virtual labs. We need to train our own LLM for a lot of aspects. I think that's a very good idea, but there are some items you need to take into account. For example, how do you ensure that the data that it is getting trained on is devoid of any kind of bias? And you don't want to end up with an LLM that is a biased LLM, right?
Gemini.
Secondly, there are elements like data poisoning, which we haven't even talked about, right? So if the data that you use for training an LLM is poisoned, then the output is also going to be totally skewed, right? So topics like those are also very important that you would need to take into consideration. Thank you.
Very nice, sir. Yeah, Ivneet, then we'll...
Ivneet Singh, and I'm a faculty for forensic course. In Institute, I've been providing training since 2013. Okay, and by that time we were the faculties when this course was really launched. Few of the mistakes that when we launch the course, we should learn from our mistakes. I think it's really important to address right now, since we are going to launch a new course in AI. That should not happen. It's been almost 11 years now teaching that course to members and the students. But still, as on date also, I see there are still few mistakes been done in that course. The problems that we faced initially in a forensic course was, it could be any course, it could be DSA, it could be any course, the fundamentals remains the same. When the course was launched, it was never a structured course. The course name was Forensic Accounting and Fraud Prevention. The name was FAFP. It was a 20-day long course and it used to happen over weekends. And the CA said it will take so much long time to finish it, then they have to reduce the cost, they have to go online. The problem was that the faculties who came to train, okay, there were no standardized tools or there were no list of tools given or authorized by institute that this is what you have to teach. We have seen the instances where faculties have given the keys to the students, they have given the crack versions, they have given the malwares to the students. Okay, you use this tool, you use this tool. There were all pirated tools were given to the students and the members. Luckily, it came to the notice almost after 5 to 6 years. okay, then there was a concern that we should not use these tools. But still, as on date, these tools been circulated. Now, we talk about privacy a lot, okay, in AI, in forensics. So, did ICI had a data privacy assessment? Has Institute done it? No? Yes or no? I don't know.
No idea.
No. So, the thing is the charity begins at home. First, we need to have a data privacy assessment done. Okay?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, whatever tools you try to use.
Yeah.
My one question is, it has to be standardized.
That's the thing.
So,
For AI,
that is the problem I'm gonna speak in FAFP course also. Yeah. Okay.
After this slide.
The other thing is, so for each topic there are like 4 to 5 faculties. The reason to have those faculties are if one is not available, other can go and teach.
Yeah.
But the problem is all these 5 faculties have their own 5 different type of presentations and content. That is going to confuse all the participants. There are few participants who have attended, the course in the first instance, they were not able to clear. In the second instance, they came again to join the course, and the feedback we got was the entire thing has been changed. It was never taught earlier. Okay, so these were the mistakes that we did.
So we'll make sure that this is in the structured course, this should not be done. We should have standardized approach, and we have standardized tools in AI we use, because forensic we'll have even one more session actually.
No, I'm talking about AI only.
Only AI.
So it could be any course.
Yes,
okay?
so we should
Other
have
thing, the content of the course, which will be prepared.
Right.
The IP has to be with ICI.
ICI, perfect. That is
it cannot be people copying the content from internet or using ChatGPT to make the content and putting it.
Right. Got it.
Because
Good point.
this has been done in the past.
Okay, sure.
And sometimes the members sitting over there, they have raised this question कि सर जो आप पढ़ा रहे हो वो already Google पे लिखा हुआ है, आपने copy paste करके पढ़ा रहे हो. So these are the few concerns, irrespective of any type of course.
Sure, thanks.
It has to be done.
Take it up. Thanks. We'll come this, sir.
And I'm a faculty for DISA course for the past 10 years now.
Yes.
I think yesterday I was in Patna.
Okay.
And wherever I go, the question that I get asked by the members is, sir, I will get a diploma, but then how do I use this to generate
Employability
value?
part, yes.
Just to add on what sir added, that whatever the content of the course will be, that has to be a part of it.
Perfect.
Because for tier 2, tier 3 cities, it is very difficult.
Right.
वो diploma लेके कुछ करेगा नहीं तो फिर कोई फायदा नहीं है.
Perfect.
And the second thing I think no one has talked about it. Like for the students, we have Python now for the advanced ITT.
Yes.
But I have an issue here. Advanced ITT course right now will be done after 2 years. Like the 6 months of the gap that he's getting. When he's learning that Python there, after that he's giving an exam. So I think, incorporating something like Python or any content of AI during the IT training, which he's doing before joining an office. Because Python is something that can be taught to a 11, 12 student. Why not?
Agree, but sir, that is a board of studies, so we can't go into
No, just adding on, because the student thing is here. So we'll be teaching students AI during the course itself,
Yes.
and later on an advanced thing. I think that would be much better.
Yeah. Last question, then we'll take a thing. Yeah, sir.
Have the edit points, like everyone has suggested that we should have some sort of a basic knowledge in the IT trainings and the advanced IT. So along with that, if we can, if we can have some tools given to them, tools which we are learning them, basically which we are teaching them. Okay. Right. Coming to the second point in the members level, the way we have the CPRs mandated for the code of ethics standards. Now we can't see the CA along, not having a knowledge of a basic knowledge of a technology. So being a faculty of a DISA since almost last 8 years, when we go, many times it happens that users are not even well equipped with the pivot table and the VLOOKUP formulas and all. Now the thing is, when we go for that, we have the constraint of time, and the entire thing goes, in the wrong directions. They've interpreted it in a wrong direction, that this was not taught. Yeah. The wrong feedbacks are sent. So I think we should have a mandated CPRs as well for for whatsoever interest of technology they have, they can spend over there.
Sure.
Last suggestion for the hackathon, it's really a great initiative. We have the uploaded, for all the panelists, we have the 3 versions we have uploaded. If we can have the repository where we can have the short videos with the use cases, and there the user can go and directly type like if I want to generate a chat GPT using a chat GPT, if I want to have the analysis of some Excel files, how can I do it? Then it would be easy to track and someone can use it as well. Right now it is very difficult, which topics were covered. We have only the panelist names. We don't have even the use cases names as well. So I think
actually to just add on to that, all the hackathons, name of the speaker and the use case which they provided.
Yeah, but I think that repository in terms of the use cases is not there.
I
like
mean,
their deliberation description kind of thing where we can basically
search. For example, if there's a hackathon,
YouTube, but if we can have it in
proper,
within our repository itself.
Right.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So
which is being taught at that time. So if we analyze AI in a more practical way, from starting what AI is, the basic large language model definitions, generative AI definitions, then going deeper into the individual softwares, for starters like ChatGPT or Gemini, and then going further into the advanced level. If the course is streamlined in such a manner that it has a start point, a middle point, and an end point, then I think a lot of the problems which people face practically might be resolved, specifically on how to use that knowledge into the practical aspects of the profession. So yeah, over to you, Anand sir.
Great, sir. Thanks, Rishir. And I will just wrap up with one slide. If I just, so I don't carry the IP of this. This is BCG, very interesting thought process. Guys, what you are seeing on your screen are the different touch points of AI with finance and audit. Okay. Now you have automator, decider, recommender, illuminator, evaluator. So they have their thought process of doing it up. And all of us knows AI is not just one thing. NLP, multiple areas, and everything is coming into picture out there. And maybe in future you have Neuralink coming. You will have that part also added to that. Human brain, how it can be upgraded. I think we got a very good input from all of you. First of all, thanks a lot for you, and a round of applause for all of you for doing it. Thank you. I think that was very much required what we have done. And thanks a lot for also showing your thought process on the towers which we have done. Because what we will do is after this thing, it is not like that we stop it up. We want to really crowdsource ideas and thought process, which all of you are a thought leader for us. We would be actually working on the first cut of all the thought process which have come, all the advices and everything, and share with you. And based on that, we will also make a kind of a first level of cut of the structured course, what we think at different level, because top management has a different requirement, mid-level management has a different department, professional C has a different requirement. We need to actually make it like hyper local for that particular section. We'll work on all of that thing and try to bring it out for you. And my request is please contribute to this one, because see, we all know whether we like it or not. I'll just wrap up with one example for all my friends who are chartered accountant. They will be able to connect with this example, which I always say. See, when I used to work for Infosys, and in Infosys when I was there, a lot of my friends, CA friends, have saved my number as Anand Infosys, and they used to do it. And when this, and I was also the program manager for TDS CPC, but I left Infosys in 2015 because some other health issues and all that. But what happens is my friends already keep in touch with me as Anand Infosys. And on the fiasco which happened on income tax filing, all of us know that fiasco which happened, where Infosys was not doing it properly and all thing, and people started saying that, hey, you know what, Infosys is, why the system was working fine, why you want to change it up, blah, blah, blah. That time these people, if they get drunk, and they used to call me. And they used to, basically, they are friends, so kisko phone karega? Phone karke gaaliyan mujhe milti thi. So they used to say, ye tumhara company dabba hai. So they will use all the bad words and everything, and they're my friends, so I have to just listen to whatever they say. But the moment the system went live and everything happened, there was something very interesting thing which came up. You have all seen the AIS.
Yeah.
The AIS came. So I said, okay, I actually met up the program manager. He said, this is version 1, we are coming with 27 version. I said, that's amazing. Then I called up all these 6-7 people who used to regularly call me up. And I said, dekho, AIS dekha? Bola, haan yaar, bahut badhiya, it's very good. We know everything now about client was not telling us this information, we know. I said, this is version 1. They are coming with 27 version. Don't you think it will be great? He said, yeah, it will be great. I said, you are not understanding it. If Government of India already knows so much of data about SSA, why do they require the chartered accountant to add value? We have to add more value if you are just doing the same thing which we were doing it. By doing the same thing what we did it. Like there is a very interesting saying, what took you here will not take you there.
Yeah.
You have to work on that. And this is a new area, and I would request all of you to contribute to this and maybe add more of the things, and we can do it. Thank you very much, and over to you, Chairman Sir and Vice Chairman Sir. Thanks. Thank you, Rishit. Huh?
Umesh bhai, anything you would like to share?
Well, thanks to all for the deliberation, the idea, the suggestions, and the futuristic view that you all have shared for the AI in ICI. And thanks to coordinator आनंद जी एंड शिशिर जी, आपके नाम में ही आनंद है तो हैप्पीनेस आ ही गया है सबको हमको. फ्यू पॉइंट्स विच वेयर देयर विच विष्णु हैज़ नोटेड डाउन, and also few important things that I have also noted down. As regard the suggestion on the student part, members part, and the development of the tools, audit of algorithms, and also regarding the importance of AI in our syllabus, most important part that I have noted is that what we plan first is the basic of AI for the normal members and students, then a moderate AI for the some who want to actually go and have a hand holding, and then advanced AI for you all people and the other experts and the AI enthusiasts and others. So on all three buckets we will be working, and we will focusing on that, and let's hope we will do wonders in 2024 itself. Over to you, Daya sir.
So thank you all again. Very quickly, couple of you might be thinking that was this deliberation required? Yes or no, I don't know. Might be the deliberation would have gone here or there, plus or minus, into and divide. But the fact is, like, this session when we are talking about, I'll just go back to a discussion which I was having with President. He specifically said there we should have AI. I said, what is the definition of AI for you? Because what little I know is very little when the world is very big. What do you expect from AI as such? Then he said, no, the study material should be there, the student should be in position to ask this, that, all jitna deliberation hona tha, sab ho gaya. Then I told him, do you know the cost of this entire project? So he said, what it will cost? Nothing much. But then we said, sir, एक तो minimum अगर आप देखने जाएंगे, अगर आपको देखना है तो we'll start with this. That time we took a call that, let us do one thing. Let us take ChatGPT licenses for every council member first. I am putting it, might be the